What's up, YouTube? It's Ash, man, and I'm coming on here to give y'all a free game about building clothing brands. Let's get into the free game. So what we're gonna be going over today is defining your brand, what it represents, designing your clothing line, the tools, tips, and strategies that you need, how to contact manufacturers and order samples, and building your online presence through organic content. I'm gonna give you some tips about that using SMS and email marketing. SMS is text messages. And then we're gonna talk about pre-orders, and then we're gonna talk about paid ads, and then we're gonna talk about the lessons I've learned. If you see me keep looking back and forth, it's because my notes is over there, and that's what I'm looking. But first step, first free game I'm gonna give you is define your brand. You wanna know what your brand is about. You want to have something that you can represent and wear all the time and just put people on. Like, my brand means this. Hey, it helps with this. I got a friend who has a brand that he just started actually called Invisible Scars. And it's just talking about the invisible scars that we all cover up and hide from other people. And he goes into his story about that, invisible scars. Then you want to choose like your niche, how you want the clothing to feel, how you want to be designed. Because you got clothing brands where you got khakis, you got streetwear, you got button-ups and stuff. So picking that. Me personally, I'm going with more of a streetwear feel, even though it's a Christian brand. I like that streetwear look. I like how the oversized hoodies feel. I just like everything about it, and just merging those two, and then make the designs and how that messaging and ties in with your audience. So the design going with the meaning behind your brand and represents what you basically want your brand to represent. And so that leads us into our next point, where we're going into designing the clothing brand, where you go on Adobe Illustrator if you're creative and you know exactly what you want, or if you already got a sketch drew up, you go on Adobe Illustrator, you create sketch, you create that what you basically looking for. It don't have to be nothing crazy either. You just starting out for your first drop, because this is a beginner's free game. You just starting out for your first drop. It don't have to be nothing crazy. See, mine right here is just words, words that but you could play with different fabrics and how you set the words up. See, mine goes across the whole arm and chest with distress embroidery. And just set it up how you want it. If you want a patch right here, just whatever you creatively think of and want, and that's how you want it to look for your brand. I would put that down and put it on Adobe Illustrator, make a tech pack using mock-ups. If you're not trying to create it yourself, you can pay people to do these type of things to create the things that you want. Or even you can ask your manufacturer to be like, hey, I'm looking for this. Can you do this for me? And ask them to send you a mock-up of it. And that leads us into our next point, which is manufacturers. So the main one you probably know if you watch multiple videos is probably Alibaba, which is probably the best, hands down, the best place to go and find manufacturers for your clothing brand. But you also have Pakistan manufacturers where they're on Instagram constantly reaching out to people like, work with us. And pros and cons of China manufacturers. China manufacturers is very professional. They got whole businesses over there, and they do everything according to their business or whatever they need to do. But it's very professional. It's very high quality, and they'll do pretty much anything you ask them. Anything that you ask them and put in your tech pack. If we haven't went over a tech pack is everything that you want your hoodie to look like, or want your mock-up to look like, your sweatpants. Every little detail you want to put in that tech pack. You want to put as much information as you can into your tech pack, so that when your manufacturer gets it, there's no miscommunication and you get a bad sample and then you don't want to work with them. It might just be because your tech pack was a little off, right? So put as much information as you can into your tech pack and send that over to your manufacturers. But China manufacturers, very professional. Pakistan manufacturers, they're also very good. That's how I started with my Money Magnet brand, and they was very good. They're a lot more personable. You could get away with a lot more using Pakistan manufacturers. Their quality is just a little bit less, but they're still good clothes. They're still clothes that you could wear every day. And it still has the quality of good material, but you could just tell the difference once you've ordered from China and once you order from Pakistan. Pakistan, they're a little bit quicker than China a little bit, depending on what you get. Another tip when ordering from your manufacturers, you want to do a payment plan. You want to do 50% up front and then 50% in the back. And when you go and contact these manufacturers, you want to find out a couple things. You want to find out their MOQ. MOQ is minimum order quantity. What is their minimum order quantity? What that basically means is that's the minimum amount of pieces that you have to get. So let's say, for instance, for my manufacturer where I got these hoodies from, their minimum order quantity is 50. I can't get no less than 50 hoodies from that manufacturer. And this MOQ varies between manufacturers. Pakistan have a lot lower MOQ than China manufacturers. China manufacturers have a lot higher one. But you can also find some on Alibaba where you get some like 25 MOQs or 10 MOQs, but most of the time it's like 50 to 100 and a lot more. And reaching out to these manufacturers, you want to sound professional, you want to sound like you did this before, so I recommend going on ChatGPT, typing into the prompt, hey, I'm reaching out to a manufacturer, this is their name, and this is basically what I want you to add. I want you to ask, what's the MOQ? What's the turnaround time for samples? What's the turnaround time for bulk orders? Because you don't, and these are all things that you're going to learn as you go through the process. Once you start getting these samples in, you'll see how long it took them to just do samples. And then hold on, if you took this long with my samples, how much longer are you gonna take with bulk orders? And that's why we always get samples. You always wanna get a sample. One, to check the quality of the hoodie or piece that you getting made. And two, to see how fast they work, see how professional they are, see their communication skills. That is all things that you wanna learn when working with a company, because a lot of times, you're going to be a repeat customer to them, because once you get a good product and you like it and this is something that you want to do, you build that relationship with them, and then later on down the road, it's a lot easier to go and talk to them and be like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for, and they already know what you want because you've already built that relationship with them. So I recommend going on ChatGPT, saying, hey, ask these couple questions, MOQ, turnaround time, and when you do turnaround times, put where you're at, like city and state that you're from. You don't have to necessarily send them your address just yet, but be like, what is it for that? That's pretty much the questions that you need to know when you contacting your manufacturers. And when you get the samples, make sure everything is exactly how you want it. And if it isn't, go in and tell them, hey, this is what I wanted instead, and ask them to fix it. If you don't want to order another sample, then be like, hey, send me some pictures of of the fixed product. I will say samples are expensive. Sometimes, if you got a big following on Instagram or something, you could get away with getting cheap samples from Pakistan, but a lot of the times, samples are a lot more than just a regular hoodie, or when you get hoodies in bulk order, they're probably $100 a piece from China, but you could probably get the same hoodie from Pakistan a lot cheaper in terms of a sample for like $75. But it's super expensive to get samples in. That's why you want to put as much information as you can into your tech pack, so that you can so that they don't have that miscommunication. And I'm sorry if you hear background noise. Got my window open right now because it's a little hot, and I ain't want no fan on making it real loud in here. But after you got the samples and everything is in, you want to start making content. You want to create the best content and be a student of the game. You want to go on Instagram, and instead of looking at stuff that's rotting your brain, go look at ads. Go look at how people post their clothes. Go look at these big brands and how they do photo shoots, and how even other companies. And this thing that's helped me, I learned from other companies how they did their marketing. So they do this cool hook that I want to use and take and post it and use it for my clothing brands. And how you do that is you basically look at the Instagram, go to Snap Insta, get the copy link, post it in the Snap Insta, and just type in Snap Insta in Google, and Snap Insta, get the video and go edit it on your computer or your phone, however you want to do that. But you want to engage with your audience. Always engage with them. Make sure they feel welcome. If someone likes your post or comments on your post, make sure to get back to them. And when someone likes, be like, hey, thanks for the support. Send them a DM. That just builds relationship. That just builds camaraderie with your brand and just builds a good feeling with your brand. So next time they're looking for a piece or you drop another piece, or they'll already have that good feeling related to your brand, and they'll support because that relationship is built with them. People love relationships, so you constantly want to be building your relationships with those people through text, through DMs, through comments, through likes, whatever that is, however that looks like. Another thing you want to do while building your clothing brand, starting your clothing brand, is building out your text message list. And once you build out your text message list, that allows for you to market those people for the rest of their life or until they reply with stop and get out your text message list. And how you want to do that is, first you got to build your website. Take what your brand represents, look at other big brands' website and how their layout is. Take that and imitate it. You don't have to copy it word for word, but imitate their brand and add your spice to it, add your flair to it, add your creativity to the website. And you want to make a website. Once you make the website, you want to push people to your SMS list. Hey, subscribe to my text message list for 10% off, or subscribe to know when we drop, or subscribe. You just want to push people to your text message list so that you can continue to grow that, and you can send updates about launches, discount codes, and restocks and drops and everything else that you use with text messages. Then you can also do email marketing. I personally haven't started email marketing, but I also know that's a great channel to start building your brand and start reaching people that necessarily don't put in their phone number, but they'll put in their email. So Postscripts is what I use for my text messages, and I've heard a lot of people use Klaviyo, which they say is really, really good for email marketing. So a little bit about pre-orders and having it on hand. I personally recommend having everything on hand, and that way you can run ads to it. You can make it a little bit more expensive. You can run ads to it and just build your audience that way. Pre-orders, you really don't want to run ads to it. You really don't want random people waiting 3 to 4 weeks to get your piece in. That just leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and they probably won't never shop with you again. So if you can have everything on hand, and so you can get it out real fast, ship it real fast. And then last but not least, we talked about ads. You can scale with ads. You can really scale with ads, and that'll probably be my next video, especially when I get clothes on hand. You want to scale with ads. You want to make sure people is buying your product. If you see people buying your product off of organic traffic, that'll make it really easy to scale with Facebook ads. I personally haven't ran Facebook ads with Believe It just yet, but I have ran Facebook ads in the past. Like I said, I play football, so I did where I ran ads for my training company. And when I was doing training, the only reason I couldn't scale even further is because I'm only limited to me and my time. But I will say this, for every dollar I put in, I made $6 back. So I'm super excited to start scaling with Facebook ads for Believe It when that time comes. Super excited about that. But if you need help with running ads for your brand, DM me. My ad on Instagram is AshtonHollins1. So go find me on Instagram, ASHTONHOLLINS1. I'll leave it right here or link in the description. DM me if you need help running your ads. Hopefully you got something from it. Hopefully you learned something from this free game. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.